Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Honestly? Or do you want me to fake it?
Fake it till you make it, baby.
Fake and I'm fabulous.
I'm fine too. I'm kind of both a little tired today. This is Cherylannchapman. I'm irisforcier.
She always beats me to it.
Yeah, I'm
That's
just
good. She's the morning person.
Yes,
and
I am.
I am not the morning person.
But I'm a little fatigued today.
Yeah, tired. It's a very beautiful rainy day.
Yeah, I was ready. I had all my summer
look at
clothes.
this beautiful. She's got this beautiful. Look at you guys may not be able to see the
it's
delicate
so
colors,
light.
but it's very light.
Springy.
Not a chiffon, but what is that? It's just very light and airy, and it's just all so beautiful. It's just so springy.
Yeah,
and I'm in camo.
Yeah,
I think
she's always ready for battle.
Yeah, I think so.
Cheryl's ready for battle.
I am ready for battle.
Today we have a long one, and I apologize ahead, but
Don't apologize, because I understand we got a three-fer in this one.
yes, you know I like to
a three for one.
And
Nice.
well, it just happens that way because I read this amazing book, and I'll just get right into it if you're okay with it.
Let's go.
This is episode 17.
Coffee and a podcast.
Coffee and a podcast. And the book I read was The Book of Joy. Cheryl's good at showing you all this. And that is...
And look at that. She has done her homework, people. Look at those. I just
That's why it's so long today. I'm like, it was one of those things.
So it has all three people in that book? Or
it's the author who wrote this book.
Wow.
So a lot of it is his feelings. And also a contributor in the book is an interpreter, which I'll talk about in a minute as well in the story. Anyway, this book is called Lasting Happiness in a Changing World, The Book of Joy. It's from His Holiness the Dalai Lama and Archbishop Desmond Tuto, and Douglas Abrams is the author.
Wow.
I'll get right into it. So, of course, my resources are this book and Wikipedia, as always.
Wikipedia.
We love Wikipedia. So, it is unusual for me to do a three-fer, but two iconic, amazing men from different cultures unite.
Wow.
One with an amazing author, as we talked about, and it's enough to fill volumes on both gentlemen, but I could not resist doing both on these gentlemen that came together.
Oh, sure.
And they wrote a book with Douglas Abrams. Some quick backstory on each gentleman. A little bit about Douglas Abrams as well. Source notes, Douglas Abrams are from the Book of Joy, Lasting Happiness, which we already said, in a Changing World. And he has a personal website and a little from Wiki. Doug Abrams is a multiple New York Times bestselling author, as well as an editor, literary agent, film producer, and life adventurer who is committed to helping catalyze the next evolutionary stage of our global culture. And that's cool. I love it.
That's awesome. Yeah.
He co-wrote this book, and as a literary agent and editor, he has helped create 18 New York Times bestsellers.
18, wow.
And had the privilege of working with many great leaders throughout. Visionary scientists and humanitarians, including Nobel laureates, Nelson Mandela, Dalai Lama, Jody Williams, Elizabeth Blackburn. I don't know who some of these
I've heard that name, but I don't know why I know that name.
He's also worked closely with Desmond Tuto, who I love, the Archbishop. And he's been doing this for 2 decades. He's worked with Stephen Hawking on his last book.
Wow.
Right? So he's no slouch, this Douglas Abrams.
No.
So Desmond, and I'm going to say these names all wrong, Archbishop Desmond Mpilo Mapulo Tutu, born October 7th, 1931, and sadly passed away. Yeah. December 26th, 2021.
After Christmas.
Wait, if he's October 7th, he wasn't a Sagittarius.
I was looking here. Passed away. October.
Yeah.
I'm like, see how tired I am, people?
Is he a Libra?
I went ahead and thought it was December 7th. Oh my goodness, this girl needs more coffee.
He was born in Klerksdorp, Transvaal, a union of South Africa, and passed away at the age of 90 in Cape Town, Western Cape, Republic of South Africa.
Lived a long life.
Desmond Tuto, we're not going to say that middle name, held the title as Archbishop Emeritus of South Southern Africa and was a prominent leader in the crusade for justice and racial reconciliation in South Africa.
Wow.
He was awarded the Nobel Prize in 1984. He really fought for people.
Yeah, if he got the Nobel Prize, Peace Prize, then
He was appointed chair of South Africa's Truth and Reconciliation Commission by Nelson Mandela, where he pioneered a new way for countries to move forward after experiencing civil conflict and oppression. These poor people were oppressed for so long.
Yeah.
He was the founding chair of the Elders, which I know Richard Branson had a hand in. A group of global leaders working together for peace and human rights. Archbishop was regarded as a leading moral voice and icon of hope. He deeply cared about the needs of people around the world, teaching love and compassion for all. For more information, please look him up. He was an amazing spiritual leader and great friends with His Holiness, the 14th Dalai Lama.
Wow.
Desmond. The 14th Dalai Lama, born July 6th. Now, he's a Cancer, right?
He's a Cancer.
1935, in Tasker, China, in Lamo Thondo. Oh, I'm going to say all these names wrong. And he forfeited his name according to ancient Tibetan custom. Yeah, according to Tibetan customs of becoming Jomphil Nwang Lobsang Yeshi Tinzi.
Oh my goodness, I wouldn't even be able to attempt that. I can't even speak.
I just kind of went through it really
That is
fast.
a lot. That's how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Six
names, people.
I attempted to understand the whole concept behind how they came up with and how they chose this child of 2 years of age to become the Dalai Lama.
Wow. So 2 years, here he knows. There we know that he's going to be the Dalai Lama.
I know. They try to find the reincarnation of the last one or something. I'm not quite sure I understand. Even though I read this book, I mean, it wasn't about that, but of how they become a monk. It was more about the book of joy. It's about sharing happiness and joy and how to live in that, all of us. And that's why, I mean, so if you want to read about it, I heard that it's an amazing, if you dive deeper into these people, you'll find amazing stories.
What you're doing is just like scratching the surface. I'm sure there's so
much
hard to put in.
Yeah, I couldn't,
because there's so much things that are relevant.
But in this book, and for us, I always think it's important we talk. I mean, we don't have to, but we like to talk about what brings people joy and how to change the script or flip the script. Or So when Tenzin, I might be saying this wrong, Gyatso, 14th Dalai Lama, describes himself as a simple Buddhist monk. He's very humble. One of 7 billion people on the planet. He is the spiritual leader of the Tibetan people and the Tibetan Buddhism. He was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1989.
The prior Dalai Lama.
No, this is him. Tenzin
this is him.
Gyatso,
Okay, I guess I got
14th
confused
Dalai
for a
Lama.
moment. Okay.
He was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1989. He is a passionate advocate for an ongoing conversation and collaboration with scientists from a wide range of disciplines, Spieling through the Mind and Life Institute, an organization that he co-founded. The Dalai Lama travels extensively promoting compassion, kindness, a big one, interfaith, understanding, respect for the environment, and my favorite, world peace.
Yes, you have to have world peace.
World peace. What do you want, Iris? World peace.
Yeah, so just get along, everybody.
Yeah, right. But I like how he likes to be interconnected with
everyone. And sorry, I got lost here a little only at the moment because there's so many different names and they show the two names together. I'm like, wait. Now we're talking about him, right? Or we're talking about, so I apologize.
Dalai Lama. No, I might have been confusing.
No,
there was a lot of information.
It's me.
Now, I might even tell you the wrong name where he lives because I might not know how to pronounce it. He lives in exile in Dharamsala, India.
Dharamsala,
India. We could say it with an accent and make it sound cooler, right?
Dharamsala.
So cool. Yeah. For India to give the Tibetan monks a home away from their homeland. It's a really sad story, actually. So much to tell you about these two amazing leaders, but you should indeed read about each one of these spiritual leaders and what transpired through their lives. I am presenting a broader picture today of the message that
like a snapshot
of these three men, yes, decided was important to impart to the world as I read about it in the Book of Joy, Lasting Happiness in a Changing World. Regarding this book, the stories are so incredible. It always reminds us that men are obsessed with power and killing innocent people, and not just obstacles these humans have had to endure, but the lack of humanity from people creating wars. To kill innocent lives, for you to wipe out all their rich history of the people that inhabit a land or because they have a different religious belief is unbearable.
Yeah, that's crazy.
While I may not share others' belief, religious or not, does not mean I want to see them wiped away. Would I pray that all these different people could come together in peace? It is my dream. So cliche, world peace. So if you have a chance to read this book by two incredible spiritual leaders and a great author, I can't recommend it enough. One of my friends is going to get this book because she requested it from me to read.
Oh, very cool.
So,
very cool.
Let me elaborate on this book, and I hope that it helped inspire you. I'm hopeful. My takeaway. These two great leaders agreed on the most important principles and offered illuminating differences as they attempted to share insight that might help readers to find lasting happiness in an ever-changing and often aching world, as Douglas has expressed. These two men have gone to so many obstacles to overcome and keep up their humanity when it seems all the odds are against them and those around them as well. The Dalai Lama sometimes isn't allowed to go into certain countries, though, like they block him.
I would imagine, because they don't mesh with what they feel.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Or they don't mesh with the Chinese government because they block them.
Right.
They differentiate what is joy and what is happiness. As the Archbishop said, joy is a much bigger than happiness. While happiness is often seen as being dependent on external circumstances, joy is not. This is a state of mind.
Mm-hmm.
So, good to have a good state of mind.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately for Douglas, the author of this book, he had the wonderful Thurpton Jimpa, the Dalai Lama's principal translator for more than 30 years, and a Buddhist scholar to accompany him during writing this book. This is good. Have an interpreter.
Yeah.
I can use an interpreter.
I need an interpreter.
Just to get me through the day. The most fascinating question most asked was how we discover our own joy, but we could possibly live with joy in a world filled with so much suffering.
That's true. How can we be happy when other people are suffering?
Their desire was not just to convey their wisdom, but their humanity as well. Mm-hmm. Suffering is inevitable, they said. And this helps me when I think about that. When I suffer, I'm like, okay, it's inevitable. I'm going to suffer. But how we respond to that suffering is our choice.
Yep.
I know this might be a hard pill for some to swallow, even for myself as I read the book and I learned. One of those easier said than done. But I hope with great practice I may personally get better at it. Mm-hmm. And it's true. I try to remember those things now.
Mm-hmm.
In the beginning of the book, it addressed the form of the question to the Dalai Lama, what is the purpose of life? He replied, it does not matter whether one is a Buddhist like me or a Christian like Archbishop here, or any other religion, or no religion at all. From the moment of birth, every human being wants to discover happiness and avoid suffering. Well, no differences in our culture or our education or religion affect this. So it doesn't matter who we are around the world. None of us want to suffer. Mm-mm. We all want to be happy. Mm-hmm. Then addressed...
If they don't, then I'm a little confused because I think most people would want to be happy.
Some don't, but that's a whole nother...
Unless they just don't realize it.
That's a whole nother topic for a psychologist that I can't even wrap my head around. Then addressed world problems. The Dalai Lama said, I feel there is a big contradiction. There are 7 billion human beings and nobody wants to have problems or suffering. There are many problems and much suffering, most of our own creation. So we cause most of our own problems.
That is very true. We do.
The Dalai Lama also states that believer and non-believers have the right to become happier human beings and to be good members of the human family. I like that.
And I like how you said that believers and non-believers.
That's right. Doesn't matter.
Very open-minded. So
one need not depend on religious faith to educate our inner values. That's right. Mm-hmm. Be a good person for the sake of being a good person.
Absolutely.
When the Dalai Lama was swept away at the age of 2, believed to be the reincarnation of the past Dalai Lama, he was raised in isolation to the future spiritual and political leader of Tibet, and as a godlike incarnation of the Bodhisattva of compassion. I should have looked that one up. Bodhisattva of compassion. Wow. At the age of 15, he found himself under the ruler of 6 million people. And he was 15.
I don't know what you guys are doing at 15. Yeah. I wasn't ruling 6 million people. Wow. Can you imagine?
He found himself facing an all-out, desperately unequal war. For 9 years, he tried to negotiate with Communist China for his people's welfare.
Wow.
And sought political solutions as the country came to be annexed. In 1959, during an uprising that risked resulting in a massacre, the Dalai Lama decided with a very heavy heart to go into exile at age 23. So he took his people.
Wow.
And it's so fortunate that India created a home, let them have a home in the mountains.
That's man.
So one might wonder, what is the shift in the Dalai Lama's perspective, and how might it relate to the adage, pain is inevitable, suffering is optimal? No, it's not optimal. It's optional.
Optional.
I read that.
Oh, I'm like, yeah, optional.
It's optional. Suffering is optional. The Dalai Lama described that when we recognize that others suffering and realize that we are not alone, our pain is lessened. And that's true. You're talking to a friend, and you have your own problems, you have your own issues, but when you hear their issues as well, then it makes you feel like, okay, we're all in the same boat.
Exactly.
I mean, we're not on the same path necessarily, but we're all in that same...
Just reminds you, everybody's life that you see, that the glimpse of it may look fabulous, but you're only getting a glimpse of what the reality is.
That's right.
Yep.
Research from psychologist Sonia Label, usually I'm very good with words, but today, forgive me. Sonia Lubomirsky,
something like that,
suggests that the 3 factors that have the greatest influence on our increasing our happiness is the ability to reframe our situations more positively. And our ability to experience gratitude and our choice to be kind and generous. This is precisely what Archbishop Desmond Tuto and Dalai Lama, that's how they live their lives. Reframe. This is not a failure. This is fun.
No. It is. That's why I am not a translator, and that's why I don't introduce people on stages because whatever. Well, because then you got to remember all the different dialects of Spanish J is not this thing's on J.
What's silent? Silent. I know.
Crazy.
Throughout the weeks of dialogues, the Archbishop and many times there should not berate ourselves for our negative thoughts and emotions. They are natural and unavoidable.
Yeah, but sometimes it's harder. I mean, it's easier said, like you said, it's easier said than done.
Right. They are only more intense, he argued, the glue of guilt and shame when we think we should not have them. So true.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny, I tell my daughter this as she is growing up, but I still don't think she believes me, and that it is okay to have negative thoughts. It's okay. It's what we do with them. It's okay to have crushes on people, but it doesn't mean we act on them.
Exactly.
We can admire people. We can crush on them.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's how we do.
Crush to me is like you're crushing because you really appreciate them.
Exactly.
You really love who they are.
And the same with negative thoughts. When I have them, I question myself, like, is that what's truly in my heart?
When I want to take my car and play bumper car with the car that just cut me off.
I hope that's how you truly feel. But yes,
But I would never do that.
I question myself. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, no guilt and shame people, unless, you think, unless it's something you shouldn't be doing. So I don't know, but who am I to judge?
There's that line with everything, but it's right. I get it.
So it took me many years to fully understand this concept. The Archbishop reminds us when negative thoughts do happen, do not judge ourselves too harshly. This is my own feelings.
Mm-hmm.
When this occurs to me, I always ask myself or tell myself, is this how I truly feel? And no, it is not truly how I feel.
Just usually it's just like a moment and you get frustrated, you get upset, and then the moment passes.
The Archbishop also explained that we don't really get close to others if our relationship is made up of unending hunky-doriness.
What? That would be something I would say. What?
Right? Well, he's got you beat there.
I'm like, did he talk to me?
Yeah.
So read that
really
again.
Don't get close to others if our relationship is made up of unending hunky-doriness.
Oh my gosh.
Meaning it is the hard times, the painful times, the sadness, and the grief that knit us more closely together.
Yeah, this is very true. This is true.
So in other words, it's not always surface stuff.
Right.
It's like even though I don't like chaos, it's nice. Sometimes the grit's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
As the Archbishop explains, that hope is the antidote to despair.
Excuse me.
Hope requires faith, even if that faith is nothing more than human nature. Despair turns us inward. True.
That's very true.
Hope sends us into the arms of others. It was mentioned in the book, much depends on your attitude. If you are filled with negative judgment and anger, then you will feel separate from other people. You will feel lonely. Mm-hmm. But if you have an open heart and are filled with trust and friendship, even if you are physically alone, even living a hermit's life, you will never feel lonely. So what are they saying?
Really
just
good words.
Open up your heart and trust. And even if you live alone,
Wow.
The Dalai Lama said there are at least 7 billion people, and the number of sentient beings is limitless. If you are always thinking about the 7 billion human beings, you will never experience loneliness.
True.
In the book, he talks about...
I have 7 billion friends? Wow.
Let's reach out. Come on, friends. Let's make this happen.
Exactly.
Here we are. We're helping you learn.
Exactly.
We're growing as we help you learn about these
this is a really
good... We got
good...
7 billion friends.
I got 7 million people behind me, people.
My backup.
They're my backup. They got my back.
In this book, it talks about an experiment that was done with capuchin monkeys. I might be saying that wrong. Capuchin monkeys regarding fairness and equality.
Oh.
It was astounding, really.
What they did.
There are 2 monkeys, and they watch each other. They do this test. They get a reward, and one of the monkey notices that the first monkey gets a grape, which is sweeter, and the second monkey gets a cucumber. Upset, the monkey throws the cucumber back and shakes the cage with rage. Oh, he's really pissed.
Had a little attitude.
This
little
video becomes popular during the time of Wall Street protests in the U.S. because it is succinctly and poignantly revealed how our fundamental instincts for fairness works and why inequality is stressful and damaging to a society.
You can't get more black and white than that.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
right? It's like primal.
That's,
And that's how people feel. They don't necessarily shake the cage, but they want to. And they're frustrated.
Yeah, they're frustrated because, how come that person got that and I can't have that?
And that it really works itself out with our healthcare in the United States, too, because we do not have equality. And it's
there's
really
a lot
painful.
Of things that we don't have equality on.
No. The Archbishop explained an example of suffering. Without meaning, when suffering seems senseless, we become embittered. But when we can find a shred of meaning or redemption in our suffering, it can ennoble us, as it did for Nelson Mandela.
Oh, that's true.
So when he was sitting in prison, he had a purpose.
You match your shirt. All the colors. Look at that. Fashionista.
Back to finding joy. Perhaps death and the fear is truly the greatest challenge to joy. But our life is short. Now you see, we are guests here on this planet, visitors who have come for a short time. So we need to use our days wisely to make our world a little better for everyone. I think so.
Yeah, that's a great reminder. You could say that 5 times over, please.
That's right. One thought I read in this book also resonated with me, as so many thoughts in this book, a must read. Marriages or relationships, even the best one, perhaps especially the best ones, are an ongoing process of spoken and unspoken forgiveness. As the author pointed out in this book, we must put aside our narrow beliefs of self and others, ours and theirs, Christian and Buddhist, Hindu and Jew, believer and atheist. A healthy perspective really is the foundation of joy and happiness, because the way we see the world is the way we experience the world.
That's very true.
Changing the way we see the world, in turn, changes the way we feel and the way we act, which changes the world itself. Or as the Buddha says in the Dhammapada, or Dhammapada, I don't know. With our mind, we create our world. With our mind, we create our world. Oh, I've got to think positively today about good things then. Ooh, take a deep breath on that one.
I know.
Edith Eva Eger often quotes fellow Auschwitz survivor Viktor Frankl, who said that our perspective toward life and our final and ultimate freedom. She explains that our perspective literally has the power to keep us alive or to cause our death. So true. That's hard. So now that's hard, because I did have an anxiety attack the other night at the sleep study. And, and it was in my mind, but my mind was like, get me out of here.
Yeah, it's hard.
And it wasn't a matter of life and death, but I was having a panic attack.
Oh, sure.
Anyway,
when you're hooked up
so it's hard. Yeah. So it's hard. I get some of the things they're saying, but like we always say, it's easier said than done. We could talk about positivity and in your mind and all that stuff, but when reality hits and there's physiological aspects at play, it changes everything. The incredible thing the Dalai Lama and the Archbishop pointed out was that suffering with others reminds us that we are not alone and actually lessens our own pain. This recognition of our interdependence begins to soften our rigid sense of self and the boundaries that separates us from others. And I have really had to remind myself of this as I read other books, that for me to have a more compassionate heart and more compassion for others. And that's hard because they might not be of my belief system, and that's not fair to them.
Right.
It is evident that the Dalai Lama likes it when people are not pretentious and that people are real. He says that sometimes, especially in formal occasions, people act as if they are different and special, but we are all the same, ordinary human beings. Hallelujah. We're real, people.
Yeah, everybody puts their pants on the same way that I see.
And we have the right to agree. We can agree to disagree.
And still be good buddies.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
They're like, in other words, move on.
Yep.
They talk in the book about laughter. It does not belittle us, but uplifts us, allows us to recognize and laugh about the shared humanity, about our shared vulnerabilities, our shared frailties. Life is hard, and our laughter is how we come to terms with the ironies and cruelties that we face. So true. You and I laugh a lot.
Yeah, well, not today. I'm trying.
No, you're laughing.
So this is good.
The Archbishop explained, we are meant to live in joy. This does not mean that life will be easy or painless, but we are meant to live in joy.
Yeah, that's true.
Acceptance. The Dalai Lama has said stress and anxiety come from our expectations of how life should be. And you will have to read the book to learn more. And that's true. When my expectation of something, and then it does. And we're back. We got caught
We're back. Yes, we got, my storage thing got full.
Acceptance. The Dalai Lama said stress and anxiety come from our expectations of how life should be, and you will have to read the book to learn more.
Wow.
Exile brought the Dalai Lama closer to reality. When you are in difficult situations, there is no room for pretense. They spoke of describing a special kind of generosity, the generosity of the spirit. They are both big-hearted, magnanimous, tolerant, broad-minded, patient, forgiving, and kind, in which the Archbishop says it takes time to become. True.
Man, I can only imagine all what he had to go through to become
magnanimous.
Magnanimous. That's your word for the day, people. Magnanimous.
As the book closes, it has a guide to overcoming the obstacles to joy. Oh, in fact, it does have a guide in the book. Maybe I'll have to buy her a copy. Yeah. And I hope
a guide for us
one of you.
To way to learn to live.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh my gosh, I think I'll have to go buy one because I need a lot today.
I have to buy one.
No,
I hope you.
And then there you go. You're bending that inside. Sorry.
I hope you enjoy this book as much as I did, and go on to learn about each person more in depth. And that was the Dalai Lama, His Holiness, and Archbishop Desmond Tuto from South Africa.
Wow.
And the author Douglas Abrams. And if you have any comments you'd like to give us, please email us at coffeeandapodcast with the number 3 at gmail.com. And we have a couple of quotes for you today. Yeah. I'm going to let Cheryl-Ann read them today.
Thank you. These are by Positive Energy Plus. Love these guys. Both of them are from Positive Energy Plus. The butterfly does not look back at the caterpillar in shame, just like you should not look back at your past with shame. Your past was part of your own transformation. That's really deep.
That was actually from
Anthony.
Oh,
that was the website, Positive Energy, but from Anthony.
Oh, it's Italiano.
Gucciarati. Something like that. Well, here, we'll put that up there so you can see. That person right there. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
This one doesn't have anybody on it. It's just, again, from Positive Energy Plus. Underscore
at Instagram.
Plus, sorry. Even if we disagree about everything, we can still be kind to each other.
That's right. Be kind to each other.
That's what we say. Those are great quotes. Great story. That's great.
Yeah,
I mean,
this was a lot of work.
I can only imagine all what he had to go through and all the training and, that's just so
my
much.
question to my new therapist was, do you think the Dalai Lama's a sociopath?
What? Shit. What?
But then I realized he's been trained at age 2 to become detached. And it's like, because sociopaths are detached. And I'm like, wait a minute, this is conflicting with my inner story about.
Never thought of that.
Right? So I'm sure he's not.
Yeah.
But just boy, it did make me pause and question.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute.
No, it's a very good question. I'm definitely going to reach out and get that book. I'll purchase that book because I'm sure it's on Amazon. Again, people. Yeah.
The Book of Joy.
There's the Book of Joy. And then towards the back, like she said, there's a nice little guide in there. So we'll definitely have to go check that out.
Now we can laugh about that.
Yeah. Thank you. That was amazing.
You're welcome.
It makes me want to learn more and be more at peace.
That you're not alone.
And I'm not alone.
You think you're alone. You're really not alone.
No.
And I mean, we all do. Dying is inevitable. I learned that too, reading the book. And that's okay. You got to kind of, come to peace, come to terms with that.
Yeah.
And be at peace because
we're
all going to die. We're all going to suffer. But it's how we choose to live our life. Yeah, how we choose to go through it.
No, it's very true.
And that's not easy. I mean, you have struggles. I have struggles. We all have struggles. But, making an effort is important. And what I'm learning right now in therapy, which I love my new talk, therapy, is how to be mindful or being mindful and checking out what are you feeling. And I highly recommend going to therapy if you need someone to talk to. Mental health is a big deal.
Oh, it's huge.
And sometimes just talking to your friends and family all the time isn't enough because we don't necessarily garner the skills as we're younger to cope with things. And even if we did, sometimes there are things that come up that they're just heavy, and it's like, well, wait, I need some skills.
Well, I think you need someone objective.
Yeah,
because we're all in the mixed pot, so we're in it. We need someone outside looking in. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't have any past, doesn't have any prejudice, doesn't have any
biases.
Yeah, so
it's true.
So that's what I think is great about.
If you need therapy, for sure. Don't let it be a stigma, which a lot of people do. They think it, but
that's why I think. I mean, you can call it a counselor. You can call it whatever you want to. I mean, the bottom line is it's It's a person that is trained to talk.
Right, exactly.
And to help you through things.
Exactly.
And so you can, label it however you want, but to me it's a counselor, a coach, psychiatrist, therapist, you know what I mean? It's just get over the words.
Yeah.
Get over the words.
And be kind to each other.
Absolutely.
And we're so happy you were here today.
Yes, thank you. Well, until next time, ciao.